What's up, guys? X Richie here, bringing you episode 9 of the F1 podcast. I am your host, X Richie, with your co-host, Andrew.
Hello.
And Erica. But Erica is unfortunately not here this weekend, so she sends her regards. But she wanted to let the fans know she will be there, hopefully for episode 10, where we'll be talking about the Mexican Grand Prix post-race and talk about how great Daniel Ricciardo looked in a Texan, everything Texas. But for that, Andrew, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. You know, it's this week went by super quick for some reason. I don't know why. I woke up yesterday with snow on the ground, so that was a little scary in my opinion. There were that time of the year.
Yeah. I think it was Western University posted a photo where they had frost, and then by the afternoon it was like totally gone.
Yeah, it was gone by the afternoon, but I was just like, I in my office where I'm working now, I have like a nice picture of my back. I have a nice view of my backyard. It was just a nice little blanket of snow, and I was just like thinking to myself, it's really over, isn't it? Buy her the shorts, got to put on the pants now. I wish we were in Mexico this week.
Yeah. I was wearing literally my Ferrari jacket for the last week, and then it's just like it was 2 degrees the other day, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to have to put on my winter coat. Sometimes well, go ahead. Sorry.
Speaking of Ferrari, I want to say, Richie, your Halloween costume was spot on. You could have fallen in the paddock, no problem.
Look, I'm just saying, Ferrari, if you are looking for a new engineer or someone to sit next to the birthday boy, Benotto, I'm like 100% in. Like, I had the part dressed. For those that don't know, but it was a great outfit. I just wore the polo shirt and I had a pass that said I was the team principal. So, and I had my gamer headset. So you knew I was like ready to yell box.
Now, did you do a Friday party, a Saturday party, or a both?
I did a Saturday party. I think Friday it was like a nice little went out for dinner with some friends, and then we went to like it was a Halloween party, but it wasn't as like, it was very like kind of small within our university crew that we graduated with. Mm-hmm. But Saturday was some of my closer friends, so it was nice. Yeah, I think the most popular outfit this weekend was Ted Lasso. A lot of Squid Games.
Yeah, a lot of Squid Games.
But yeah, I'm curious, fans, what were you guys dressed up for Halloween this year? But any of you guys F1 engineers or anything? And what would be a Lance Stroll outfit? Just the aviators?
Yeah. My cousin, they're big into NASCAR.
Yeah.
So my nephew, or I guess, my cousin, he's not my nephew, but my cousin who's 8, other cousin who's like 30, and then dad, and then like father-in-law, they all went as a pit crew. So they all had their racing, they all had the racing uniforms on. It was really cool.
So true story, I have never watched a NASCAR race from start to finish. Do they yell box just like they do in Formula 1?
There's a lot. I don't know if you ever have a chance to go on YouTube and just look up NASCAR radioactive like videos. It's just pretty much guys just ripping on the radio about their team, about their car. Like, if you thought F1 guys were bad, NASCAR guys are just worse.
Have you not seen Lewis Hamilton talk about his tires?
No, it's worse, Richie. It is so bad. Like the best part is that they in F1 they don't call out the team as much, right? Because it's all a cohesive unit. In NASCAR, it's really like fend for yourself, because the guys just call out their crew and saying how bad it is or how bad or crap their car is. It's the blame game, and it's quite funny.
Yeah, because like those are the kind of things that you like live for this sport, especially like you remember early on this season when just Max Verstappen would just ramble on the radio and you have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And Christian Horner's like, Max, just stay calm. It's fine. Just keep going. You don't even know.
The classics always when like the engineer says, okay, put your head down. i.e. shut the hell up and start racing again.
Oh, speaking about races, U.S. Grand Prix in Texas. How did you think that went?
2 words for me: tire management.
Yes,
Very key this past week race. It was definitely a 2-stop race just because of how the tires were degrading quite heavily on the hot track. But I was really impressed with Max that was world class from Max to keep his hard tires compounds to the end and being able to manage that. So he had enough to fend off Lewis at the end there and get the W.
Yeah, I think it was the first race back in 2019 back in North American soil. So it was just really good to see the fans. I saw something like a 53% jump in attendance 2 years ago.
They got over 400,000 people in the weekend in Austin.
That's amazing. Like, I was hearing horror stories again. Now it's out of the parking lot. I think, what is it, parking lot J or whatever, it was close to the track. But yeah, no, it was good to see. I think overall it was a great race. I don't know where to start. I thought the first 2 words you were gonna say, the 2 words that you were gonna say to summarize the race was Martin Brundle. I was kind of hoping that, but you know, we will talk about that later in the pod. But I think all around,
I think for me, there's 3 big pillars in this race. It was definitely Lewis versus Max.
Yeah,
and Max being able to fend off Lewis for as long as he did. The second pillar for me was the battle for third place in the constructors really heated up.
Mm-hmm.
McLaren and Ferrari just went at it this weekend, and it was wonderful to watch. And then my third pillar was Alfa Romeo. They drove like a team pissed off all weekend. It was kind of fun to watch. And I loved watching Fernando and Kimi battle it out.
It like brings back old days in the early 2000s.
Holy smokes. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it because like Leclerc came 4th, Ricciardo came 5th, and then Sainz came 7th, and then Lando came 8th. So it's like you're literally just fighting back and forth with the team. Oh, and then Bottas was 6th in the middle of that.
With the engine penalty.
Yeah.
I think it was a good result for him with the engine penalty. Red Bull made a really big dent in coming back this weekend. And we'll get into Mexico, where I think a little snippet of my analysis is that Red Bull's going to take a very commanding opportunity this weekend. But nevertheless, it was great to watch Ferrari and McLaren really just duke it out in the first lap. It was like final lap racing on the first lap, midway through the track, which was really cool. My question to you is, was that move that Ricciardo pulled off on Sainz, quote unquote, dirty?
Ooh.
And I wish Erica was here because this would have been a fun debate.
She's literally messaging us right now as we talk. Man. I think sometimes you're just going to have to shoot it. And like, because like we're getting down to the wire, and do I think it was a dirty play? I'm going to say probably. But sometimes you just got to have to take those risks with what 5 races left. And it's like, you got to go for it. And I mean, it's just kind of like, if you think about it like basketball, like if you even touch someone, it's a foul. That's just my humble opinion. I also am not really good at basketball, but that's not for this pod. I don't know. I was kind of hoping that Daniel was going to have a really bad weekend because he was focusing so much on publicity. Like, I did
say top 5 finish, and he got his top 5 finish.
You freaking did too. I was kind of waiting for a DNF, but then all of a sudden, the only people that I didn't want DNF was Ocon because I double points him this weekend. But, yeah.
Well, that was first lap. So that first turn was just absolute mayhem again because Latifi got sandwiched by the Haas. I forget which one, but he got sandwiched and he runs into Stroll, and then Ocon got clipped too. So in the first 3, there's 3 accidents in the first turn. But I was really surprised about how well Ferrari ran this past weekend in Austin.
I think I said this last episode, Andrew, is that, they were going to struggle a couple of those races when they kind of made these changes to the car. And then it was going to be until the end, towards the end of the season, where we're going to see this. And like, I honestly, full credit, I think Ferrari's got the motivation to pick P3. I think they got the extra drive, and they're clearly proving that. I'm literally just rewatching the highlight now of the first turn. So sorry, Erica. That's just my humble opinion. But yeah, no, I'm very curious to see how McLaren will duke it out in Mexico. I actually don't know much about the Mexico track itself. Isn't it a former baseball? Is it in a baseball stadium?
Yeah, so we'll talk about the track when we do the preview. No. But yeah, it's quite an interesting track to say the least. And yeah, a portion of the stadium portion is in a baseball field. It's pretty much a baseball field that they just cover into a track.
No way.
Or they put the turf on it. Yeah, it's quite interesting. But
go ahead. Sorry.
I think Red Bull really showed their mettle this week in terms of, or this past race, in terms of how far they've come since last year.
Yeah.
Max's first ever win in America in a course that's been traditionally just dominated by Lewis. And I think Lewis was really dejected this past week. He was not saying much on the radio. He didn't say much in the, throughout the discussions and everything like that. I think he was really dejected that, he was behind all weekend, just a snippet behind. And now seeing that Sergio has kind of come into form, I think Red Bull have a pretty good chance to really make a shot at the constructors now too. And I think Mercedes are kind of on the back foot.
Oh, and this is the goody part about that is F1 did a really good post on their Instagram or on their socials last night of the, I don't know if the fans saw this, but I think Andrew, you sent it to the group, the points comparison from last year and this year. And, let's quickly go through some of that. Max Verstappen has he has 287 points right now, 0.5. 2020 had 214. So that's a 73.5 jump. Lewis is down 71.5. Bottas is down 38. So 185. 223 in 2020, 185 now. Hamilton had 347 to 275. Checo, he's up. He's 150 in 2021. Now, previously he was 125, so still going. And then the McLarens are up. The Ferraris are obviously up. Daniel is actually down 14 points.
Yeah, well, I think that attributes to the really slow start that he had in a new car. Again, it's a new car, not, he's getting used to McLaren as opposed to the Renault setup. But I think the big jump for me is the constructors of seeing Ferrari jump all that. For me, Ferrari's been having one of the best seasons, comeback
119.5 points at more this year than last year.
Insane.
And Red Bull is 118 points, 0.5 more this year.
Yeah, the big winners this year so far, Red Bull and I would say Ferrari. I think the big losers this year, Aston Martin won for sure.
Yeah,
they've been copped on the regulations. And then I'm not going to count Mercedes as a loser because, in my opinion, Red Bull has just kind of caught up to them. And you can't knock Mercedes after winning 7 consecutive, constructors titles. Pretty much, I think Mercedes they haven't done enough this year.
Yeah.
But everyone's trying to focus. It's a weird year. You're focusing on next year's car, which is going to be vastly different than what this year's car is. But I think Red Bull has finally been able to piece it together and put the fight to Mercedes, and we're seeing that now.
Also, got to mention that Williams has their first points. They're at 23 points this year. So that's also a big hoot. Alpine is down 77, and AlphaTauri is down 13. And then Alfa Romeo is down 1, and then Haas is down 3. I didn't even realize Haas got points last year.
Yeah, I think Grosjean I think scored a couple. Magnussen scored at least 1. They were we should talk about that interesting revelation from Mazepin this past week.
The only reason he's on the team is his dad. His dad is contributing to it. No.
Yeah. So if for anyone who hasn't read the article, it said that Mazepin was trying to find a better seat in Formula One than Haas. He's saying he's not. I guess just a Haas is not treating him well, or essentially, and he said there are better seats for him on the grid. No, there's not. Like, you are not a good driver. You're constantly. Let's just compare between him and Mick. He is like 50 seconds to a minute behind Mick all the damn time. It's like, it's not his. Don't tell me that he'll be better in another machine. You know what I mean? Like, he's bad, plain and simple. But if Haas lose him to, say, a competitor, then there's a big problem, because his dad, he runs the Alcali or Cali, like that sponsor, and they're like the major sponsors for Haas now. But I don't think any team is going to want Mazepin to be on their driver lineup. I don't think he's really even made friends with anybody on the grid, to be honest with you, because he's pissed off a lot of people throughout the seasons based on his driving. So despite what Maz says, if he wants a better seat, he'll find that in F2.
I'm gonna come back to the Mazepin thing, but I just rewatched the Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz. I might just take back my position. I really don't know. I had to rewatch it 3 times just to see it. But yeah, no, I that's really ballsy to make a comment like that. I can understand if you're actually like performing well. You're performing well this season. No, you're not. You have 0 points. You are.
And you're not even close to having a sniff of points. Like, you haven't even made it out of Q1 yet. Your teammate, who runs the exact same car as him, has gotten out of Q2 or out of Q1 and into Q2 a couple times.
Yeah. So
don't give me this garbage. And he even got a chassis change after the break, and it still hasn't helped him.
I just find that is just really ridiculous to make those comments. Like, you can really, it comes back to a couple episodes when you talk about experience with drivers. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just I don't know if it's called, maybe I'm just being too hard on him, but I just find that was like a very stupid comment. And like, your driving doesn't back up why you deserve a seat right now. Like, maybe he will change the next 4 or 5 races. Is it 4 races or 5? 5. Yeah, thank you. I personally don't. 4, 5. Well,
5. Yeah, we got. Oh yeah, we got.
Okay, it's all gonna be on one hand. That's all we know.
Got Mexico, Brazil, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi to finish.
Thank you. Yeah, I personally just didn't think that was a very smart comment to make.
No. And I don't know if he's saying that so that he can find more power internally within Haas, because cash is king in this business. So I wonder if like his comments are making him wanting to stay. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Gunter's smart enough to understand that no one else is going to want him on their team, and he really has no power. If he wants to be in Formula One, he's going to have to race with the same team he has. Oh, and I think he's under contract for the same team next year. So you can't. Yeah,
it looks good when you come back. It looks great when you come back on your second season, and like your team really wants to help you when you make that. Oh my gosh. Also, I don't know. Did you read that? I don't know if you follow the Reddit Formula One, but it got posted earlier today that Kevin Magnussen almost came back to Formula One after last year with Williams, but then Williams say that. Okay, also, number one, the amount of F1 drivers lately coming out with movies, Netflix/Amazon Prime, books. I think everyone, like, not saying anything, but everyone is trying to milk the success of Netflix's series.
Yeah, but the thing is, it works because, like, look, like, even if you look at Austin, they had maybe a couple 100,000 in 2019. Ever since that Drive to Survive has come out, Horner's gone on record to say like it is like the attendance has skyrocketed in particularly in the US. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like in Mexico this week. with Checo coming home in a competitive car that he could actually potentially win in, but he won't. But I'm just thinking, like, it is going to, I think, yeah, they see the success of Drive to Survive, and they're just going to milk every second of it.
I'm actually curious, like, because I know a little bit about Mika Häkkinen of his times versus Schumacher, because the Schumacher documentary talked about that. So I actually would be interesting to kind of know his perspective of when he drove, and just to know what it was going like through him. But I just think it's just really funny that like Kevin Magazine came out with a book, like everyone just coming out with something right now. Has Nico Rosberg has anything out yet?
I imagine so. I'm pumped up for when they bring out the either docuseries or if it's a movie between Rosberg and Hamilton.
Oh,
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying this is me looking a few years down the road when Hamilton's retired, the dust has settled a little bit. There will be a movie.
I'm pretty sure Fernando Alonso has something out too.
I think they all will. Like, I imagine I can see Kimmy having something soon. Actually, I don't know about Kimmy.
No, I think it'd be like 10 seconds. Like, I like Formula One.
Yeah, and the title will be like, "Blah."
The Iceman, ice cold. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I was gonna Martin Brundle.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, last thing we should talk about is the Martin Brundle drama. And to be fair, I'm on the 100%. I'm 100% on Martin Brundle's side on this case. So Richie, you go for it.
That's just poor take. Like, who do you think you are shoving a legend like him on the grid? Like, and especially the comms person at the end, just like, oh no, she doesn't want to answer your questions. And then Martin's like, oh, sorry, she already did. Like, whoops.
Yeah, like, we're talking about Megan Thee Stallion walking down the grid in Austin, and Martin Brundle going to ask her a question, and she refused, and then her bodyguard jumped in, and she's like, well, she just answered your question. And like, if you're gonna go on the grid, expect to get an interview. Why are you walking on the grid when there's hundreds of reporters on the grid? Of course you're going to ask questions if you're a celebrity. Like, don't be so naive.
Yeah, I just thought that was very poor. Like, I also don't know what the rules are when it comes to walking on the grid, because like, I honestly didn't really think. I think it's only really the US Grand Prix where where like celebrities or high profile people can walk on there.
I think Abu Dhabi, they'll have definitely one because of it's being the last race of the year in a beautiful.
Do you see any of that in Monaco? Because I don't remember.
Oh, good question. Maybe so. Like, I know they had
also COVID was still kind of not a lot of people were vaccinated by then. Yeah. Right. So
I think for future, I do like what you said with regards to the F1 coming out saying that you're not going to have bodyguards if you're going on to the grid anymore, because the grid is traditionally an open place. And, traditionally the reporters that are on the grid aren't asking like really hard hitting questions. They're more fun, it's more of a place to enjoy. It's a way to get, fans to be connected, because if they're not going to want to ask, hard hitting questions to celebrities, because they want to promote their sport. Right, you want to have the celebrities be happy there, so that their fans that may become interested in the F1 it's a marketing tool, right? So, yeah, I think there was a bit of an attitude coming from Megan Thee Stallion's camp, but again, I know traditionally I don't, in a way, I don't blame her camp, because they go like, this happens. This pretty much happens all the time. Because I find reporters, the media in North America, vastly can be different than the media in Europe, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think I don't blame them. I guess it was more so maybe there should have been a discussion prior hand and saying, look, hey Megan, if you're going to be going on the grid, expect to have an interview and make sure your bodyguards are okay with people coming up to you with bikes.
Yeah, that's yeah, and actually I'm just trying to think, nothing like, didn't they do that at Silverstone? Like, I don't know. That's a good question. But someone wrote, how about Martin brings a bodyguard and just absolutely demolishes these celebrity bodyguards when they interfere him with his job? That would be prime entertainment.
Martin Brundle's tweet after it was amazing too. I gotta find this because it was unbelievable.
He's like, I think I've gotten yelled at by other people. Yeah, no, it was kind of, and I like, so true story. I was actually at the Maddie in Toronto. So I was at for those that know, it's a famous bar in the annex part, which is like it's like the University of Toronto area.
Great time at the Maddie.
Yeah, beautiful. But and I don't need to, I have to say this. If you're a Liverpool fan, you go there, you go to the Maddie, you join the Liverpool Toronto FC Supporters Club. Great group of people. This is a personal shout out. I guess this is where the advertisement comes in the middle of podcasts. I guess maybe we're getting there soon.
Well, I live near the Maddies, like in Toronto, like my condo's down there. So
yeah,
it's a great spot. I love going upstairs onto the patio. It's such a classic bar.
Yeah, I went there for my first time to watch an actual game there. I was there for like 6 hours because I watched the Liverpool Man United game. and then well, obviously because we're so used to having the races in the morning, so it's like we're sitting there for an hour and a half. We're like, okay, well, what else we're just gonna have to do? We're just gonna hang out here.
Perfect. I guess here's the Martin Brundle tweet. I felt under pressure on the grid before, but by people called Senna, Prost, Schumacher, Mansell, PK, and so on. Bodyguards visiting the grid for the first time don't bother me. Everyone's got a job to do, but they can maybe learn some manners and respect on our patch. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because classic is like the security card says you can't do that. And then Brundle goes, I can because I did.
And then, sorry, I'm just going to slowly plug this in. So it is, their Instagram is OLSC Toronto. And you can go to their Twitter at LFC Toronto or www.lfctoronto.com. This is the official Liverpool Supporters Club in Toronto, and they watch all their home games at the Annex. So hope to see you guys at the next game. Anyways, but yeah, no, I thought that was really funny tweet. I'd be curious if I wonder if there's going to be something fun at Mexico. Well, we'll see. But speaking about Mexico, so we talked a lot about just the fun and joy of coming back to North America. So I think this will be a race that really determines who wins this. And I think that if Verstappen can pull off another win, if Checo can hold maybe P2, and if Lewis can't even get on the podium, it's over. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, so traditionally this is a very high downforce track.
Yeah.
So which will suit Red Bull. Mexico is 2,000. Mexico City is 2,000 meters above sea level, so it's going to bring some interesting challenges with thinner air, less downforce. But I think Red Bull has the best downforce package in F1. This course reads big in time to them because Verstappen was able to set the fastest lap in 2019 there when he qualified for the F1 race. He got a couple penalties because of a yellow flag infringement. Nevertheless, I think this is a very big Red Bull track, and I will not be surprised if they finish 1-2 this weekend.
I think they got all the energy going, because like even when we talked about how Lewis was always just like a second behind Max in the US, like he's a motivated guy, but I wonder if he's not losing it, or it's just they're just being, Red Bull has been really into this year and they haven't been able to keep up. I don't know.
Yeah, and like Checo's in form and he's coming home to his home race. The fans are going to be behind Checo 100% this weekend. So, this track is pretty cool. It's pretty level. A couple big straights, but there's a lot of there's some slow corners, but there's some very big high speed corners. So I wonder Mercedes are going to compensate for their lower down or not as much downforce? Do you think they put some more aerodynamic compromises on their car, which can open up the body work a bit? But my concern is if they start focusing on aerodynamics, they're going to lose their downforce. So it's going to be a big game to play.
Wouldn't there be any penalties that they could maybe potentially occur?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll just fit the car based on that. As long as they don't do it in Parc Fermé.
Yeah.
But I think this week they've had a couple of weeks to figure it all out. But I think Red Bull is going to be really inspired to try and win one for Checo. If it does come to a point where Checo is ahead of Max, but Max is catching up, I really do think, though, that they're going to tell Checo to give the place to Max for Max to get the first place, because we know Checo's not in contention for the driver's title.
Mm-hmm.
And who cares if they flip spots? The best thing is the best result this week for Red Bull will obviously be Max 1, Perez 2, and one of them getting the fastest lap, because they'll close the gap in on pretty significantly in the constructors. And Max is going to only just enhance his lead on Hamilton.
Yeah, I think we're in for a wild race, and I think we have 4 straight races. No,
we have 3. So
3. Yeah.
Since this was weird. I thought USA, Mexico, Brazil would have been the ideal triple header. Yeah. You literally just go from Austin to Mexico City down to, I think it's in Rio, into Lagos. Anyways, but in Brazil, we're all on the same continent. They have to go Mexico, Brazil, and then they got to fly to Qatar and set up for a week. I'm like, holy smokes. The logistics team are a nightmare.
Yeah, it's just like I struggle with basic logistics. Like
this is gonna be mental. It's like I have no idea how to do this.
The Ata Duomo, Jose Carlos Pace. This isn't Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, okay. So we talked about Red Bull, Mercedes. Who do you think wins the battle this week between Ferrari and McLaren?
I wonder if, I feel like there's still going to be a little special ZA coming down to Mexico. Like, just like how the US everyone's wearing their cowboy hats. Everyone's wearing their cowboy hats there, or doing some sort of like I feel like there's still going to be a lot of like maybe Mexican traditions that they'll partake down there. I already seen a couple of sombreros hats that like I wonder if they're gonna wear them if they win. I don't know if they did that last time.
Well, so I thought they were gonna do the cowboy hats in Austin. They didn't do that. They just did regular hats. So I don't know if they're gonna do the sombreros.
Yeah, just back to the baseball cap. So yeah, I think if they just focus, I think. Well, I'm curious. I mean, everything I'm seeing on social media is just all Checo. So I don't see anybody else really partaking in anything.
That's why we're the F1 podcast. We'll talk about it all.
It's the best podcast on YouTube, man, and SoundCloud, and just those 2. But this is where you have to find it. Best podcast in the world.
See, for me, I think like Ferrari has a little bit of an edge over McLaren. I don't know. Leclerc says their package suits better. Ferrari suits better for Mexico.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be like as close of a dogfight as it was last week, I know that Leclerc I think the key though was like Leclerc was 25 seconds ahead of Danny at the end of the day, and that's a huge gap. So I almost wonder if Ferrari rides that momentum in. I honestly think they do. I think Ferrari's going to be ahead of McLaren in the constructors after this race in Mexico. I do love all 4 of those drivers, but I just think they've ever since that engine upgrade that they put into both their cars, Ferrari has been a step ahead of McLaren. I think that Ferrari has a better shot of finishing P3 in the constructors now with that upgrade.
Yeah, I do not disagree there. I'm obviously a little biased, and but I think the record of the last couple of races speak for themselves. And I think this is the chance that, I think Ferrari is going to start inching away at the constructors and fulfill the goal of coming third. And yeah, I think that's just how we're going to see that. Anything else in the mid pack that you see can maybe form this weekend?
I don't know if I think Gasly can have a strong race this weekend. Tsunoda's been a pretty big surprise for me these past few races. He's been defending really well against, he defended really well against Bottas in the AlphaTauri in America. I thought he did a really good job in that respect. I think Yuki's starting to find his form, and they did. Lawrence Barretto did a really good piece up on Yuki on F1.com, and he's traditionally a guy that finds his confidence later on in the season as well. And so, I think AlphaTauri is going to have a nice surprise showing this week.
I think I wonder if he had the jitters when he first started. Like, he had that. What was it? The first race that he had, the 7th or 8th finish. I think it was the 8th finish, or the 9th, one of those two, where he got 2 points and everyone was going crazy. And then he struggled for a couple of races. So I think since he has not had the spotlight on him because everyone's been focusing on Gasly, he's been able to feel a little bit more comfortable driving. And I think that's a big thing. So I'd be curious to see how he can pull off this weekend with not having a lot of people on him.
Do you any key moment or key things do you think are going to happen in Mexico this weekend?
Yeah, I think my focus has been really on seeing if Ferrari can pull off, get out of the constructors. I think what we talked about earlier. I'm kind of being lukewarm to everything else towards 6 or 7 downwards. Like, anything can happen. I mean, I was very disappointed with Alpine last week. They really screwed me in my fantasy. I dropped like 4 spots. I got the lowest points, and that is the worst feeling in a fantasy when you, after the end of the weekend race, out of 33 people in your fantasy, you are the 30. One that got you're not the 33rd. That's fine. But you're the one that got the lowest points that week. And you kind of were like, oh, I'll be okay. No, you dropped like 4 spots.
Especially with 5 races to go.
Yeah. I mean, so what we're doing for ours is obviously the top are competing, but because we're in like the middle, I'm in the middle. I think I'm like 23rd or something now. I used to be like 18th or 19th before the US Grand Prix. They're making a spot like the 18th spot. Whoever gets 18th wins money too. So
sweet. Okay, that's good.
Give some competition for all us basement dwellers.
All right, let's get money. Let's get in the money, Richie. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who's gonna get on the podium today. I'm calling it. It's gonna be a Max, Checo, and Carlos Sainz. Actually, no. Yeah, Carlos Sainz.
I love that. I'm gonna stick traditional this week. I'm gonna go Max 1, Checo 2. Because I think Red Bull are going to dominate this weekend. I think this is really going to be a big weekend for Red Bull, and it's going to be a statement going into the final 4 races. And we'll have Lewis go 3rd.
Yeah.
Because he needs the podium this week to keep it close. Because if Max goes up 22 plus points on him with 4 to go, it could be all but over if he wins one more. So it should be interesting. I really hope there's no more collisions on the track on the track this season, because you don't want to win like that. I would love to see some good hard racing, clean and hard, but I don't want to see any collisions that are going to affect this. I know we enjoy that and it's fun watching that midway through the season, but this is a real big title fight that I think people are going to enjoy watching anyways. So it'd be nice to not have those collisions affect the title fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll be curious to see how things go this weekend. I'm just looking at the clock and we're kind of wrapping up towards the end of this episode. I have a special shout out. As a lot of people know, here in Canada, Remembrance Day is on the 11th, as we remember those that sacrificed in World War I, World War II, and in future combat scenarios. So if you can, please make a donation to your local Legion and buy a poppy. So I want to do that. And also November is a very special month for Andrew. And Andrew, I think you have a fundraiser going. If you want to maybe tell the fans of the pod, and I'll post in the link when I post the video either tonight or tomorrow of what are you raising money for?
Yeah, so with November coming around, I'm participating in Movember. I'm currently sporting the handlebars mustache, and I'm a big supporter, especially just for mental health. Not only because traditionally, Movember's been, raise money for prostate cancer, but this is so much more than that. It's, we've evolved into a point where it's not only prostate cancer, not only testicular cancer, but mental health, suicide prevention, and men's health. Especially in the sporting world, we've heard a lot of some really sad stories this past week affecting men in sport. And, this not only the Movember, it's not just, again, it says not just for raising money for prostate cancer, it's raising money for mental health awareness, suicide prevention, and just overall men's health. So there's gonna be a link in the description. Please donate to my Movember page. My goal is $500 because my girlfriend hates my facial hair and she misses my quote unquote clean shaven face. So I did say to her that if I did reach my goal of $500, I will be clean shaved for the entire month of December.
I will donate $25 for that.
Perfect. So we'll have the link in the description.
And on that note, it is episode 9 of the F1 podcast. I am your host, X Ricci, and with our amazing co-host,
Andrew Cleary.
Sorry, I was literally pointing to Andrew there. And then obviously Erica sends her regrets. Andrew, next week's going to be episode 10.
Episode 10. It's already flown by.
Episode 10. First we got to do one in person because we've all been doing this over Zoom. So that's one of the goals before the end of the season is we can do an in-person pod. But I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you everybody for supporting. This has been such a fun project. And we honestly, Andrew, remember the first time we did this? We just we were so okay, we'll see how this goes, free flowing, didn't really think, but it's now become a bi-weekly or weekly thing. And it's something I look forward to in the week. And I just want to say obviously thank you to you and Erica, but this has been a lot of fun to do. So, and thank you to the fans for supporting us.
Yeah, I would say thank you to you, Richie, for coming up with this idea. It's always fun just, being able just to talk about a sport that you really enjoy, right? And be giving probably your thoughts. I really want to thank the fans for continually listening for us because we know that this will only grow from here. So please share with your friends, your family who enjoy F1. Feel free to roast us in the comments if you don't like our opinion. Please do. I want to hear. I would love to hear some more feedback from the fans. If we are so off base with our takes, please let us know. I'd love to get your opinion on the races coming up as well. Yeah,
we've been getting some good questions, and this weekend we didn't get many, but I got a couple from my fantasy team, and especially the question about that the illegal overtake or questionable overtake. I think that was a good topic discussion. But man, Martin Brundle, your beauty. That's all I gotta say. So on that note, we're gonna end the episode here. Thank you guys so much for thank you guys so much for the support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Please donate if you can for Remembrance Day and also to Andrew Cleary's Movember page. I'll make sure to put those posts in the post below. And everyone have a great today's Thursday. Have a great Friday and have a great weekend. And I guess we'll see you next week where we'll highlight the Mexico Grand Prix.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
And on that note, see you guys next episode.